Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Hey, baby, how's it going over there?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
That's a good way to start the day. Okay, that means there's room for improvement, and I'm going to push for that. I'm more than okay. I've got a super exciting guest coming up, Dale Brown. There are folks out there that are Dale Brown fans. He's a best-selling author. This is a man who served our country, and now, after serving our country in the military, he started writing books. He's got a new one coming out called Iron Wolf. I've got a copy of it here, actually. I think I'd like to read this. But it's based on a story in the future, like a couple years in the future of what's coming. And there's a guy in there that's kind of like Putin, but it doesn't call him Putin, and what he's up to. And it's interesting stuff. Anyway, we'll be chatting with Dale later in the program. Also, even though they discovered it in 2000, the science community is still excited about the discovery of water on Mars. Water could make it easier to colonize Mars. It could be used for drinking, turned into rocket fuel, or converted into oxygen for breathing. There are actually people who signed up to go on a trip to Mars knowing that they would never come home. Would you do that?
No.
Nor would I. I kind of like Earth. Let's stay right here. I don't really want to go to Mars. But the good news is,
interest.
At least there's water there, so if you get thirsty, you can have a drink. Coming up, we're going to talk about a food fight. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
One of the most famous scenes of movies from like the late 70s, I don't know, I think it was late 70s or early 80s, Animal House. They had the food fight scene. Food fight!
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, combine 113 tons of ripe tomatoes and 40,000 partying Spaniards, and you have the recipe for a mega mess. Tens of thousands of people had a much bigger food fight than the one from Animal House. They had a blast belting each other with tomatoes during their annual summer ritual in the village of Bunal. It all got started in the 1940s. Now some people are not satisfied with just tossing tomatoes. They started using tennis rackets to hit the tomatoes. After all, it was over a ton.
That kind of sounds like fun.
Yeah, a ton of tomato mush was hosed away by cleanup crews. The sad thing is, could they use those tomatoes for something like to eat the tomatoes? Because it sounds like when they're
probably kind
done,
of rotten ones.
Sounds like when they're done with these tomatoes, there's not a whole lot left to them.
So. I bet they're not good. I bet they're no longer any good.
If you want to sign up to do that, check it out online at Bunal, B-U-N-O-L. I might have said it wrong. Bunal, it's in Spain. Go check it out. Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You know it's true, Heidi, because you heard it on the radio. If you carry a purse, you are essentially toting a big bag of bacteria everywhere you go.
Yes, you and I have had this discussion many times.
That's the finding of a new UK study, which claims that women's handbags hosted more bacteria than the average toilet flush. Get a note here from the research that was conducted by cleaning and hygienic services company called Initial. It says your purse is coated in germs. That was confirmed by microbiologists not connected with this UK study as well. So even an independent study said that. Charles Gerba of the University of Arizona, microbiologist, studied bacteria living on handbags, found that the bottom of the handbag was the nastiest, likely because women place them on the bathroom floor.
Well,
do
you
do
place
that?
them on the floor everywhere. If you're at a restaurant, they go on the floor no matter where you are.
And here's the thing that's disgusting.
But no, I don't put it on the bathroom floor. I put it on, there's a hook. Always a hook in the bathroom, and I hang it on the hook.
Hang it on the hook, ladies, because you put yours on our kitchen counter.
I do.
Do you remember what I started doing with it?
Started hanging it on the
on the doorknob.
And I started putting it back on the
I noticed that. And then I started hanging it on the doorknob.
It's not like I cook over there anyway.
I know, but that's still disgusting. I'm like, just keep the dirtiness off my kitchen counter. Come on. We're married, by the way. For those of you who maybe listen to the program, if you didn't know that, hey, that's kind of cool. We're actually married to each other. So these bizarre conversations that we get into might make a little more sense to you if you didn't know that. But, if you have a handbag, whether you're a lady that carries a purse or there are guys that carry, what do they call them? A satchel?
A satchel.
It's a satchel. So if you carry something like that, just keep in mind, don't set it down somewhere that's yucky. Otherwise, you're going to take that
or
yucky
briefcase
with you.
Or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything that you carry with you. If you set it down in the dirt, when you pick it up, it's probably got dirt on it. Just keep that in mind. Or if you set it down on the bathroom floor, it has bathroom floor on it. So, keep that in mind. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your scoop of the day. We head to Texas. There's a Texas man that thought he was going to outsmart the whole drug system, Heidi.
Okay.
He said, I'm going to grow my own, and I'm going to beat those high prices. It wasn't lettuce or tomatoes in his garden, though. Deputies charged John Daniel Miller III with growing pot. Tyler County deputies say a tip led them to Miller's rural property where they seized more than 70 pot plants. Authorities say the value of the illegal weed was about $100,000. Sheriff Sergeant Randy Meadow tells the Tyler Morning Telegraph that Miller said he was trying to save money by growing his own. So he said, no, I'm not sharing this with anybody. I'm not selling it to anybody. This is just for me. This is how much I need.
It's still not okay.
Saving money. So, that's not a good plan. I remember reading not too long ago that there was a bunch of places where there was marijuana growing like on private or public property, and there was a big investigation. They thought maybe somebody was doing it to be smart and hoax, but as it turns out, they think that it was mixed in with the fill dirt, like when they brought that stuff in. So anyway, this guy, he put it there on purpose, and he got himself in a little bit of trouble because his brain was on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Now your moment of duh. How would you like to be an instant winner, Heidi?
Sure.
Winner, chicken,
a winner
dinner.
Of what?
Well, let's talk about this. Luck was not on the side of New Zealand's Amy Adams after a local Mad Butcher shop put her picture up announcing that she was their lucky shopper. She was the instant winner of a huge prize. As fate would have it, the shop got Amy's photo from a tape surveillance camera, which captured her in the act of shoplifting.
Oh.
Despite that, Amy dropped in to collect her prize. Her prize was handcuffs.
Yeah.
So, what an idiot. She robbed the place, stole something. They put her photo up saying, instant winner. Congratulations. If this is you, stop in. We've got a prize for you. When she came in to pick it up, she got arrested.
Yeah.
So they're like, we got some paperwork to do, but here, have a seat. Do you want a Coke or anything while you're
We
waiting?
got some paperwork. I bet you do have some paperwork to
just
do.
need to call in. We want to make sure we deliver this the right way, It's like giving you the key to the city. Instead, we're giving you handcuffs. So, don't be an idiot. Don't do stuff like that. Hey, coming up, going to talk to a very, very smart man, a man who served our nation in the armed forces and now has a bunch of books out, and they're really cool books. Dale Brown has a new book out called Iron Wolf. We're going to tell you all about it in just a little bit. We've got your scoop of the day on the way next.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. A new study from the University of Vermont finds that people with light-colored eyes may have a greater chance of becoming dependent on alcohol than their darker-eyed counterparts. Look me in the eyes. Oh, yeah. Look at those eyes.
I'm not dependent.
They're kind of bloodshot right now, actually. It's a bad sign. What's going on over there? What is in your coffee? A man in England has been found guilty of drunk driving after being stopped by the police as he cruised home from a night to celebrate passing his driving test. So he just got his driving test passed. Then he got, a party. Hey, let's have some fun. Then he got pulled over and lost it already.
Yikes.
A new survey. Don't drink and drive. It's a bad idea.
Never.
That was in England. It doesn't matter which country you're in. It's
No.
always a terrible idea. A new survey shows the population of people in the U.S. of A. who don't have internet is down to just 15%. That's the equivalent of only 47 million people in our country that don't have internet. So most of the nation, 85% of our nation has access to the internet now.
Crazy.
That's kind of cool. Looking for a late summer getaway? Well, the Toilet Seat Museum in Alamo Heights, Texas. It's housed in a man's tin-roofed garage. The museum is filled with nearly 800 toilet seats and lids, and even features a piece of the late Iraqi ruler Saddam Hussein's toilet. So, for those of you who are completely bored and looking for something to do,
say, who cares?
Don't know. Alamo Heights, Texas. Punch that into the GPS, and I'm sure that you'll have a great trip there. If you're dieting and exercising and you still can't get rid of that donut, that little midsection, this could be the answer. A recent article says stress and its effect on adrenal glands could be impacting your ability to burn fat. That's my problem. And
I know that's a large part of my problem.
And all that food I eat.
My diet doesn't help a whole lot, but when I am trying to lose weight, I can't.
Well, they say one of the first steps in overcoming the problem is reducing your stress through getting more sleep, avoiding caffeine, and exercising.
Why are you laughing?
I need to do all of those. Hey, at least now I know. You can relieve your anxiety and depression and distress by cleaning your house vigorously for 20 minutes nonstop once a week. Tidy Heidi, you do this. Maybe not vigorously.
No, I really don't.
You're always tidy, though.
Yeah.
That's a word from a study from University College London. They say that the key to alleviating depression is physical exercise, and their choice to take care of that exercise is cleaning your house.
I am very, very tidy.
You are. You're tidy, Heidi.
But I wouldn't say I'm like a clean freak. I don't make sure everything is spotless.
Yeah, and you put your dirty purse on the counter.
I just need everything put away. Everything has a place.
Everything has a place, and it all needs to go there.
It all needs to
and what
do
do
away.
I do with the things that I am supposed to put in those places?
Throw your crap wherever you want, and then I have to run around and pick it all up.
You don't have to. I'm just trying to help you, Heidi.
Oh, thank you.
You need to overcome these things. While the 10 Commandments don't include thou shalt not eat chocolate cake, an unusual new study found that people who regularly attend religious activities are 50% more likely to battle obesity by middle age. We don't know why frequently religious people participated in this development of obesity. According to Matthew Feinstein, he said he's the study's lead investigator and a 4-year student at Northwestern University Freiburg School of Medicine. He says there have been a number of studies over the years that show more religious people tend to live longer and are less likely to smoke and have better mental health. Feinstein noted that religious people are doing a lot of things right, but this is one special area where there is room for improvement. So he's saying that when you're a little more religious, you tend to have a little more hanging over the belt. So you might want to be careful on what you're chowing down. Maybe it's because of all the church functions. They all have good food.
They all have delicious snacks.
Like, oh, wow, this is so good. Do you have the recipe for this? Yummy. All right, let's wrap things up with our strange law. In San Francisco, it is against the law to walk an elephant on Market Street unless the elephant is on a leash. San Francisco. Apparently they have an outbreak of elephants walking around off their leash.
I have no idea where that could have possibly even come from.
Nor do I. But that's the strange law, and this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. We've got a special guest on the line right now, former U.S. Air Force captain and best-selling author from the New York Times bestsellers list, Dale Brown, and he's got a new book called Iron Wolf. We're going to learn all about that here in a moment. Right now, welcome to the show, Dale Brown. Dale, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your service to our country, and also thank you for taking some time to chat with us today about your new book, Iron Wolf. How long have you been working on Iron Wolf?
Oh, it usually takes about 8 or 9 months to put them together, but they practically write themselves. You know, reading the newspapers, watching the news, stuff that's going on in Eastern Europe and Eastern Ukraine is a little bit frightening, a little bit challenging for me, and I love looking into a new technology and figuring out how the new technology could affect conflicts like this.
I really like how you use current events to shape the direction of your books. Now you've got a new book, Iron Wolf. Talk to me about how current events help shape this book.
Yeah, what's Russia doing in Eastern Europe and the possibilities of what Russia could do in the future if the United States doesn't take a leadership role in what's going on out there. That they're obviously stationing troops inside Ukraine. I think it's a very real possibility that they could could take over the rest of Ukraine. Whether or not they would occupy it like they did during the Cold War is another question, but I think they could make a move. And right now, the United States is not very well prepared to do anything about it. Certainly not to stop them from doing it. So we're doing a little bit more these days to bolster the defenses of NATO, especially countries like Poland and the Baltic states. But we're really not doing enough. We're doing things that we should have been doing 5 years ago, and we've been standing around too much while Russia is making their moves. And Iron Wolf describes what could happen if they do push forward throughout Ukraine and then start threatening Poland and threatening the Baltic states. What would those countries that are affected do about it if the United States did nothing? And I use high technology and guerrilla warfare, really high-tech guerrilla warfare, to try to stop Russia.
Again, we're visiting today with New York Times best-selling author Dale Brown about his new book, Iron Wolf. Now, here's the cool thing. Iron Wolf takes place in the future, 2017. Now, something that's interesting, in 2017, in the future that we talk about in this book, there's a new president, and it's President Stacey Ann Barbeau, the first female president. So my question for you, Dale, do you think in 2017, you think we're going to have a female president?
I'm not sure if we will, but I think the American voters and the American people are ready for that. I think that not too long ago it was kind of unthinkable that we would ever have a female president, just like people thought it would be pretty much unthinkable to have a black president. So I think the American people are ready for that, and I think they're kind of maybe even bracing for that. But I think we're ready to do it, and I think I'm not sure if this is going to be the election cycle where it's going to happen, but it very well could. But I wanted to design a character. She's new in the White House. She's not new to politics, but her focus has been pretty much the domestic politics and not international politics. Although she's a military advocate, but she's very inexperienced in foreign affairs, which only plays into the Russian president's hands. He doesn't have to worry about any interference from the United States because at least in foreign affairs, the president is kind of weak. When NATO is fragmented, the United States doesn't support NATO like it used to, and that creates an opening for the Russian president. And that very well could happen in the year 2017, if not sooner.
So, Dale, as you were telling a story that's based in the future, and again, using current events, right now, I believe we have more presidential candidates at this point than we've ever had at this point in an election. So, as you were creating this fictitious president, did you base it on any particular person?
No, I've used Stacey Ann for several novels in the past, so she's definitely not a new character. She was a U.S. senator. She was Secretary of State. So she's been around. She was a major character in the previous novel, Starfire, and it was a natural progression for her to become president. But at the same time, because of her inexperience with foreign affairs, she can't take on Russia. She can't take on a really aggressive Russian leader, so she's kind of stymied, and her response is to do nothing, to hope that everything turns out and just hope for the best, and that's definitely not going to work if Russia is on the move. So she could have easily been a male character also, but I think the personality and her desires are not that too much different than a lot of other leaders and a lot of candidates that we're seeing right now. So it's not too far-fetched. I think people can see Stacey Ann's character in a lot of the candidates and a lot of people in government right now.
Definitely. Again, visiting with Dale Brown, best-selling author, and he's got a new book out called Iron Wolf. Dale, where can I find my own copy of the new book, Iron Wolf? Would it be in most bookstores?
It certainly is, and it's online also, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, BN.com. It's available everywhere. I'm very excited and happy about it.
Well, congratulations on all the success, and I hope really good things for the book Iron Wolf. So have you turned your attention to the next chapter? You working on your next book now?
Absolutely. Book number 27 is underway. can't tell you too much about it, but it's it's not a state secret or anything. But it's I'm just having a blast. I'm having a good time designing Bradley McClanahan's character.
Nice.
His father Patrick was a fully formed character when he first made his debut in Flight of the Old Dog, but Bradley's a little bit different. He's not necessarily going to follow in his father's footsteps, and what exactly his footsteps will be is something I'll be crafting and building over the next few years. So that's a lot of fun for me.
Again, we've been visiting with New York Times best-selling author Dale Brown. His new book, Iron Wolf, is available right now. Buy that wherever you like to buy your books. And if they don't have it, I guarantee you they can get it ordered in. Dale, thank you again for spending a little bit of time with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome anytime, and be sure to let us know when you get that next book done. Again, we've been visiting with Dale Brown, author of Iron Wolf. It's available right now. Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday edition of The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Wednesday, the second day of September, which means today is Bicentennial Day.
Bicentennial?
Bicentennial Day. So it's like Bicentennial Day, but it's Bicentennial Day.
I see.
I don't know what that means. I would Google it, but I don't care. It is also VJ Day, and it's National Beheading Day. Why do we have a day for that? Isn't that kind of a dumb day to celebrate?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure which one of these to celebrate. VJ Day, I suppose. And I'm going to celebrate that. I don't know exactly how, but one way. And if you've got like a birthday or a special thing going on, you get out and celebrate that as well. I still cannot believe it's September.
I can't either.
How did that happen?
I can't either. The whole summer is just gone.
It was June just the other day, and we blinked our eyes, and here we are. Kids are going back to school. You know, it's turning into fall. Don't know what's going on. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk about some people who maybe need to take a chill pill. They've got a kid that wanted to pretend to be a superhero at a daycare, and he got in trouble for pretending to be a superhero.
Kids are supposed to pretend.
I understand this. We're going to chat all about that, and we'll have quite the discussion, I'm sure, on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Do you remember when you were a kid?
Yes.
Did you like to pretend?
I pretended
do make-believe?
all
You
the
still
time.
pretend once in a while.
I do. I do.
Get us in
It's
trouble
soothing.
from time to time. All right, pretending to be a superhero, that's natural. But a child care center in Australia says superheroes are not allowed. A number of child care centers in Melbourne, Australia, declare themselves superhero-free zones. They've banned kids from wearing superhero costumes. They say it makes kids aggressive, and you get little gangs of Batman and Superman bullying the weaker kids. They shouldn't be. They should be helping them. What are you talking about? It says here it discourages creativity because they want to be the same character every day. But parents are getting angry, and it says child play expert from Monsell University says there's no evidence that wearing a Batman costume promotes violence and that kids can get aggressive just playing with a stick. So they're saying, you guys need to take a chill pill and let these kids be kids and have fun.
Good
so
Lord.
Here's what I would do. I've got the perfect solution to this. If you have a child, this is in Australia, so probably not, people listening here. But if you have a child that is going to a daycare and they have rules that you don't like, go to a different daycare.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a simple, easy thing. Just say, you know what? I
You're
disagree
not held
with that.
captive there, so
I disagree with that rule. I think it's phooey, and
think
today
it's-
will be
you
our
think it's
final day.
phooey.
I think it's phooey. Today will be our final day here. I'm taking Batman, and we're going to go find a new daycare. I'm going to let my kid be a kid, and you can do that. You have the right to do that. As the child's parents, moms and dads, it's up to you. It's not up to the daycare. So if you don't like it, go to a new daycare.
Correct.
And if there's somebody smart in this community, maybe they'll open a superhero daycare that caters to the people who are fed up with this. See what I'm saying?
I see
There
what
you
you're
go.
saying.
You
I hear
picking
you
up what I'm
clucking,
putting
big
down?
chicken.
Uh-huh. I knew you were going to say that. Why do you always say that? I am not a big chicken, and I am not clucking. Coming up, research shows that women are attracted to men who have deeper voices. I've got that story coming your way in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Honest question, Heidi. Are you attracted to me?
Yes. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have married you.
Okay, I just want to say, now, would you be more attracted or less attracted? If I had a higher voice, if I talked like this, would you still be attracted to me? Or if I had a deeper voice, would that make you more attracted to me?
I wouldn't say having a deeper voice would make you more attractive, but I don't think I could have married someone that sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Thanks for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
That would make
that would be kind of hard.
Bedtime a little awkward.
Hey, baby. What do you want? Well, research has shown women are more attracted to men with deeper voices. They're perceived to be healthier. They're more masculine, according to this, perceived to be more masculine. In addition, men are drawn to women whose voices are higher pitched since they are perceived to be more attractive, subordinate, feminine, healthier, and younger sounding.
Subordinate. Now, I see how quickly you glossed over that particular word.
Because I'm just reading this. I'm not saying I agree with this, but I am saying it's interesting that, because I'm telling you right now, when you and I met, if I'd have said, hi, my name's John, if you said, hi, my name's Heidi, I'm pretty sure I would have moved on right then and there. I'm like, sorry. I was talking to the lady behind you. So sorry. No. All right. Speaking of moving on, coming up, we've got a story about someone who lost their job for being a good Samaritan. We'll tell you all about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Interesting story here. Charnice Spain said she was stocking shelves late one night at a Walmart and she noticed two blind women walking into the store after being dropped off by a cab. About 2 hours later, Spain said she was shocked to see the women were still at the store sitting outside. Worried, she asked the girls if they were okay. They explained they were college students waiting to go back to school. They were having a difficult time getting a cab to come pick them up. 2 a.m. rolled around. They were still there 3 hours after they came in. Charnice offered to drive them home. Her boss originally said no, but then said, okay, you can take them home as part of your lunch hour. But when she got back, she was fired because he claims that she didn't punch out. She says, I did punch out. So she was doing a good deed, helping two young blind girls get back to the college, and she was let go.
That's too bad.
I don't understand why they would.
She didn't see that coming.
No, she wasn't the blind one. No, but I think it's really sad that she was let go for that. They should have said, we need to adjust that because you didn't punch out, if he thought she didn't punch out, whatever. But to fire her over that sounds like she was doing something good. So I wonder if there's more to this story. Either way, kind of sad. Coming up, we've got some good news. And before we get to the good news, going to talk about Ferris Bueller and kids trying to pull a Ferris Bueller these days. It's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
When I was a youngster, I remember watching this awesome movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
One of my favorites.
And believe it or not, it says here, according to this story, almost every kid will at least once try to pull a Ferris Bueller where they pretend to be sick. Did you ever do that?
No comment.
She did that all the time. So how do you spot a faker when the internet pages are devoting to sharing faking tips? There are tips out there on how to fake getting out of school. So how do you spot a faker? You should be suspicious if your child claims to be sick every month or so. If you have a kid that says a friend is sick, they should be setting you up for their illness too. So my friend Mike has been really sick, and then all of a sudden the next day, Mom, I think I caught what Mike has. We're both going to skip school and go to the store together. Before they spring the excuse, call the friend's parent to find out if their kid is really sick. Also find out from their teacher if there's a big assignment due. They may want to avoid that. It says here, wait a while after the complaint about feeling sick before you take their temperature. This will cancel out any short-term spikes from like hot liquids or warm coins under their tongue or whatever. I didn't know about that one. It says also stay in the room while the thermometer is in their mouth because you want to know if they're really checking their thermometer.
Make sure you're not touching it on the light bulb or something.
If ill enough to vomit, don't take their word for it. Make sure you actually see what's there. The old condensed vegetable soup in the toilet trick is one that's pretty popular these days.
Yeah, you should always taste it.
Don't taste it. No. Ugh. Oh, Heidi, that's gross. Finally, if you do let them stay home, disconnect the cable, block the computer, take away the iPad to cancel any fun. First of all, I'm going to just say this. We have a son that just graduated.
Yes.
Last year, he asked us, because he's a good kid, he said, Mom, Dad, can I skip a day of school? I want to do a Ferris Bueller. So Heidi actually helped him. He wanted to do a Ferris Bueller, so they went to a museum.
Yeah.
They wanted to go. Did they go to a ball game?
Fancy restaurant.
Did they go to a ball game?
No, they ended up going bowling.
They went bowling because there was no ball game to go to.
Because weather was not nice.
Yeah. So, but they planned it for a day. There was a ball game. But this is a kid that he never really just skipped school.
Never skipped school at all.
He was a senior.
We gave him a fancy car to drive.
Yeah, we actually let him. He couldn't try to start it and couldn't get it to work. So it was a fun thing. So does that make us bad parents?
No, it makes us awesome parents.
Probably makes us bad parents. Hey, good news. We have some good news coming your way here in a moment.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
Heidi, I got some good news for you. If we've got time, I might even have two stories, because I got two. I just don't know if I have time. First of all, a back-to-school magic show is more than just entertainment for one little girl. Her parents were both serving as active duty U.S. Army, and they were away while this young lady was being raised with Grandma and Grandpa. But recently at a school assembly, they had a magician that made them reappear. How cool is that?
That's cool.
So they were coming home, and they said, hey, let's work this in. Julia and Brian Woodburn.
I watched this.
Yeah, there is a video online, and it was part of the surprise homecoming during the school's opening day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was really a cool thing. That is just awesome. Hey, like I said, I got a couple stories, so let's dive right into this one while we've got a second, because this is really neat, too. At 85 years young, an Arizona great-grandmother has scaled Mount Kilimanjaro. That's the highest peak in Africa and the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. She's 85. Annie Lorimore completed the climb with her nieces and nephews despite contracting the flu on day 4 of the 8-day trip in Tanzania. Officials say we were just waiting for word from Guinness to make it official that she is the oldest woman to reach the summit.
Wow.
So at age 85, she's climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's pretty impressive.
I need to get off my tush and at least walk around the block. I'm just saying. And one other fun story here. In China, they've taken the claw machine to the next level. You know the claw machine?
Yeah.
Where you have the
Yep,
toys
you
in
can get
there.
the toys.
You put in a quarter and then it eats your quarter.
Giant ripoff. Yeah,
Well,
I'm aware.
They have a human version where there's a whole big thing of toys and you hook your kid to a harness.
What?
And the kid gets to wear giant oversized boxing gloves and they drop them in the harness into a pit of toys. And if they can pick things up holding the boxing gloves on their hands, if they can pick up a toy and keep it, they get to keep it. I want to play this game.
That is awesome.
They're doing that right now in China. True story. I actually have a little video of it. You can check it out if you go to facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Oh, that is funny stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way, to the bonus break, because this means you are listening to the podcast. This doesn't happen on the radio anywhere. We have more and more radio stations picking up this show, which is awesome, and a huge thank you to the radio stations that are carrying it. Now, if you listen to the podcast in an area where we're not on the radio, let us know, and we'll see if we can get on the radio there. You reach out to us and say, hey, I'd love to have it on the radio in my town. I live in blah, 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 wherever. We'll see if we can reach out and find a station to carry the show. It's been so much fun to watch this grow and grow and grow. And a huge thank you to Dollar Shave Club because they sponsor this little bonus break. And here's why. They like to give little bonuses, don't they?
Yes, they do.
What are you laughing about?
They sponsor this break, but they don't know they sponsor this break.
Well, they don't know they sponsor this break, but they like to give little bonuses. You think that's funny, don't you?
I do.
I think most of our sponsors of our podcast have no clue they sponsor our podcast. This portion of the program is brought to you by, they'd be listening like, what? We sponsor this filth?
Who okayed that?
How much are we paying these people? Whatever it is too much. No, Dollar Shave Club is a cool thing. I actually use the razors. I really do. And if you want to check it out, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio and sign up for the program. Now, over here, we got a couple of stories. 23-year-old Delf Furlanson of Austria recently staged a daring prison break. But here's the thing that's interesting. He was trying to break in to prison, not out.
We've talked about people doing this.
He served 2 years for theft. He really, really liked prison life. So much so that when he was let out after just 2 years, he went home and stayed with mom for a while. And then he said, life is so much easier on the inside. They feed you. They do your washing. They let you watch TV. He said, I can tell you that's a lot more than mom does. So I thought if I could sneak back in, I might blend in with the others and the guards wouldn't notice. So he was literally trying to sneak back into prison. So I'm thinking maybe the prisons are a little too nice in Austria if he wants to go back.
But you know what? You hear about that here, too, where people get out and they're just like, I can't handle this.
Yeah, that and the weird thing is, what was the movie? Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
What was the guy's name on there? Red. It wasn't Red. Red was the other guy. Who was the guy that said he's carved it into the wall? So-and-so was here.
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about. I remember what you're talking about.
Our son, if he's listening right now, he's going to come and
he's
kick me in the
yelling
head.
It at the,
yeah,
at
a lot
the
of
radio.
people are. Anyway, the guy that was in charge of the library, you know the one, him.
Yeah,
he wanted to go back.
Yes, he did.
I feel like an idiot that I can't think of his name. Anyone in your company have brain drain? Well, I do right now. It seems the federal programs worth billions of dollars are at risk because the government is not doing enough to recruit, train, and keep good employees. According to the General Accounting Office, staff cutbacks, an aging workforce, and competition from the private sector have contributed to the brain drain in the federal government. So they're right now suffering to keep good, smart people working for the federal government. The good, smart people are taking jobs elsewhere, according to the story.
Can't say I blame them. That's why they're smart.
All right. A Connecticut mother was arrested after she gave her 2 sons a hammer and a screwdriver to protect themselves from bullies at school. It's a bad idea. Deborah Smith was arrested on charges of risking injury to a minor. Police said they received a complaint from Wolf Pit Elementary School. Wait a minute. Wolf Pit?
First of all, if you're sending your kid to a school called Wolf Pit, you might want to know you're literally sending them into the Wolf Pit.
Wolf Pit Elementary School. They got a call that 2 children were carrying weapons at school that were given to them by their mother. The brothers, age 5 and 7. Oh, my goodness. They were suspended after the tools were found in their backpacks. Here's the sad thing. You know these kids were probably being picked on, and mom meant to do something nice. But, mom, that's not the nice thing. You don't solve kids bullying on you by taking a weapon to school. You solve it by going and talking to the school and saying, hey, we got a problem.
You know what? I disagree. Because you told me yourself a story about a kid that was getting picked on all the time.
It wasn't at school that he did
and
this.
And nobody, well, it might not have been at school, but it was after school.
Let me explain what happened.
It was right when he got off the bus. He attacked somebody with a dog chain.
No, it was a log chain. Get it right. If you're going to say this. It was a big heavy-duty chain. And it was really sad because I watched this kid every day after school. The bus would stop out in front of our house. And every day, the door would open. As soon as it would open, he'd hit the ground running, and 2 bigger kids would chase him. And they tormented this kid. And I always felt really bad for him. And several times I even shouted at the kid saying, hey, leave the kid alone, you know. And finally one day I saw him get off the bus, and he walked at a very leisurely pace. And he had his backpack in his hands, and he reached his hand into the backpack, and these kids came running towards him, and he pulled out a chain and beat the snot out of these kids.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as a parent, I don't have a problem with that.
And
if somebody was picking on my kid, I would encourage them to defend themselves.
He got in trouble, but the kids got in trouble. But I can tell you, never once after that did I see them chase him. Now, do I think that was the right solution?
Absolutely, because they didn't bother him anymore.
I don't think his mom probably sent that chain with him saying, hey, you want to fix a problem? Here you go. All right, let's change the subject here quick before we get ourselves in trouble. Here's a helpful tip. If you're going to put your truck up for sale on Craigslist and potential buyer says he wants to take it for a test drive, don't say, don't steal it. That's not enough. In Council Bluffs, Iowa, Eric Elam put his 2005 Ford F-150 on Craigslist. Clean-cut looking man showed up to buy the truck, but first wanted to take it for a quick test drive around the block. He told the guy, well, that's fine, but just don't steal it. That didn't work. He never saw the man or the truck again. Cops are looking for the vehicle, but they doubt they will ever find it. So he took the truck. You could have sat in the passenger seat and rode with him. That's a good idea.
So the other night when you let someone test
I was in the
drive
back
it,
seat.
You rode with him?
Yeah.
Oh,
and we
I'm
had a nice
impressed.
chat. It was really fun. We chatted quite a bit. So, don't do what they did. That was a bad idea. All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. If you would like to sign up for a nice bonus every month, get razors from the Dollar Shave Club. Not only are you going to save a ton of money on razors, they're good razors, they're great prices, and then every month they send you a little bonus, and I've got the little bathroom minutes over here. I'm going to read something quick out of here. This is one of the things that they sent. If you want to avoid the heat of the summer, you're supposed to get out of town. Did you know it's actually hotter in cities than it is in the country?
We actually have read this one.
Yeah, it's quite
or
a bit.
Either that or I read it. Maybe I was
You
reading
might have read
that.
it.
Yeah.
3 degrees hotter in a city than it is in the country. So 3 degrees, not a big deal. But it's still hotter in a city than it is in a country. So there you go. Our bonus break brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Learn more about them and buy their products at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.